This is a reconstructed, long-form documentary-style narrative based on publicly reported events, court filings, and witness accounts. Some names, timelines, and identifying details are altered for narrative clarity and safety. This story is intended for educational and journalistic discussion. The raid. 6:12 a.m. The body cam activates with a soft electronic click. A red indicator light begins to blink, steady and indifferent, recording everything without emotion. It is still dark in Minneapolis. The sky is that deep blue-gray that exists only before sunrise, when the city feels suspended between night and morning. Snow from the previous evening still clings to the edges of the sidewalks, packed down by passing cars. A single street lamp buzzes faintly, casting a weak yellow halo onto the pavement. Houses line the block like silent witnesses. Porches empty, curtains drawn, doors locked. A convoy of unmarked SUVs rolls slowly onto the street. No sirens, no flashing lights, just engines idling low, tires crunching softly against ice. The vehicles stop in near-perfect alignment, as if rehearsed. Doors open almost simultaneously. Boots hit the ground. Breath fogs the air. These are federal agents assigned to administrative enforcement, operations that are rarely dramatic and almost never deadly. Most end with paperwork, handcuffs, and quiet departures. Tonight, or rather, this morning, is supposed to be no different. Inside the lead SUV, an agent stares down at a laminated photograph clipped to a file. A woman's face, Elena Morales, 32 years old, no criminal record, a prior immigration issue flagged years earlier, resurfacing now because of a bureaucratic review, an administrative warrant, civil, not criminal, the kind of case that usually ends peacefully. He exhales slowly and hands the photo back. At 6:12 a.m., he nods. The signal is given. The team moves. The duplex is small and unremarkable, blending into the neighborhood as if trying not to be noticed. Beige siding. Paint chipped near the steps. 2 trash bins pushed against the wall. A child's bicycle chained to a metal fence, its tires half deflated from a cold. A porch light is still on. Inside, Elena Morales is asleep. She moved to Minneapolis less than a year earlier after separating from her husband. Friends say the move wasn't dramatic. No fight, no scandal, just exhaustion. She wanted quiet, stability, a reset. She shared the duplex with her younger sister, Sophia, who worked overnight shifts at a nursing home. Their schedules rarely overlapped. Most mornings, Elena woke up alone. This morning, she wakes to pounding. At first, it blends into her dream. A distant sound, almost unreal. Then it comes again. Harder, sharper. Her eyes snap open. Her heart begins to race. It is too early for visitors. Too early for deliveries. Too early for anything that involves knocking this hard. She sits up in bed, disoriented, reaching instinctively for her phone on the nightstand. The pounding grows louder. Someone shouts through the door. The words are muffled. Urgent. Mail. Elena's stomach tightens. Her brain floods with possibilities, and fear chooses the worst ones first. Psychologists call this moment sleep inertia under threat. When a person is pulled from deep sleep by danger, the rational parts of the brain lag behind. The amygdala, the fear center, takes control. Elena's thoughts spiral. Is someone trying to break in? She remembers recent news stories. Home invasions. Early morning burglaries. People targeted because they were alone. The pounding becomes violent. The door shakes in its frame. She pulls on a hoodie with trembling hands and slips her feet into socks. Her phone buzzes as she unlocks it. She considers calling 911, but then she hears voices. More than one. Commanding. Urgent. She can't make out the words clearly, only the tone. Her breathing quickens. She moves down the hallway toward the front door, heart hammering so hard she can hear in her ears. Outside, the lead agent raises his fist and knocks again. 3 times. Each strike is deliberate, practiced. He announces federal agents. At least, that's what he says later. Neighbors will claim they heard shouting, but no clear identification. The truth likely lives somewhere in between. Words spoken, but swallowed by walls, adrenaline, and fear. Inside, Elena reaches the door. Her hand hesitates on the handle. Her phone is still in her right hand, the screen glowing softly. She takes a breath and opens the door. The body cam footage captures the door swinging inward. Elena stands barefoot on the threshold. Her hair is loose, her eyes wide. She looks small against the dark shapes on her porch. At least 3 agents are visible. Someone shouts a command. Hands up. Another voice shouts something else at the same time. The commands overlap. The audio distorts. Elena freezes. She takes a half step backward. This movement, small, instinctive, will later become the center of the entire case. The official report will say she reached toward her waistband. Her family will insist she was clutching her phone. The video shows an arm moving, just slightly. Experts will argue for months over what that movement meant. In high-stress encounters, perception slows down for the person experiencing it and speeds up for everyone watching later. For the agent at the door, time compresses. Training kicks in. Threat assessment. Hands. Waistband. Dark hallway. The possibility, however small, of a weapon. Someone yells, "Don't move." Elena's mouth opens. She never finishes the word she's trying to say. The agent's finger tightens on the trigger. Fear overrides doubt. A shot rings out. The first bullet hits Elena in the chest. Her body jerks backward. Her phone flies from her hand, skidding across the hardwood floor. Another shot, then a third. The sound is deafening inside the narrow hallway. Elena collapses. Her knees buckle. She falls hard, striking the floor. A scream tears through the audio. Hers. Then another scream. An agent yells, "Shots fired! Shots fired!" The camera shakes violently as chaos erupts. Someone backs away, voice breaking. "I thought she had a gun. I thought she had a gun." The sentence repeats. Again and again. From a moment the door opened to the final shot, 37 seconds pass. Silence crashes in. An agent rushes forward. Someone kneels beside Elena. Someone radios for medical support. The body cam tilts downward. Elena lies motionless. Blood spreads beneath her, dark against the wood floor. The agents search. Her waistband. The hallway. Behind the door. No gun. No knife. Nothing. Only a smartphone, its screen cracked, resting a few feet away. Later analysis will reveal the phone dialed emergency services, but the call never connected. Police and ambulances arrive within minutes. Too late. Neighbors step outside in coats and slippers, drawn by the noise. Whispers spread fast. "They shot her." Federal agents. Phones come out. Someone records the flashing lights. Someone records the shouting. Someone records Sophia. Elena's sister arrives home from her night shift and sees the tape stretched across the street. She pushes forward, confused. Then she sees the paramedics. Then the covered body. Her scream cuts through the morning. Her knees give out. An officer catches her before she hits the ground. A neighbor films it all. That clip will later circle the world. By sunrise, the street is sealed. Yellow tape flutters in the cold wind. Agents move quietly, avoiding eye contact with neighbors. Reporters begin to arrive. Cameras point toward the house. At 11:47 a.m., the first official statement is released. During a lawful federal operation, officers encountered an armed individual who posed an immediate threat. One word detonates public trust. Armed. There is no recovered weapon listed. No clarification given. Just silence. By the end of the first day, Elena Morales is no longer just a person. She's a headline, a statistic, a symbol. The officers return to their lives, one of them forever changed. The family begins a nightmare that will not end. And somewhere on a bodycam hard drive, the footage sits, unchanged, waiting to be seen. The video and the city. For nearly 48 hours after the shooting, the public knows almost nothing. There is no video released, no audio, no names, only a statement. And statements, especially vague ones, leave room for imagination. Inside a secured evidence server, the bodycam footage is copied, cataloged, and locked behind protocol. Technicians tag timestamps. Supervisors review the clip frame by frame. Lawyers watch it silently, pausing often. What they see unsettles them, not because it is graphic, but because it is ambiguous. Ambiguity is dangerous. Ambiguity creates arguments, and arguments create movements. It does not come from an official release. It never does. At 2:37 a.m. on the third night, a 19-second clip appears on a private Discord server run by a local activist group. No context, no commentary, just shaky footage filmed off a screen. A door, a woman, a gunshot. By morning, the clip has crossed platforms. TikTok, X, Instagram, Hajichi. The caption changes each time. They shot her for answering the door. Unarmed woman killed in her own home. Federal agents execute woman over paperwork. Millions watch it without sound. Millions fill the silence with their own assumptions. Minneapolis has memory. The city remembers sirens. It remembers crowds. It remembers flames reflected in storefront glass. When the video circulates, something old wakes up. By noon, flowers appear outside the duplex. Candles, photos, handwritten notes. By sunset, the street is blocked. Not by police, but by people. They stand silently at first. Then someone starts chanting. The chant spreads. Comme arrive. The city inhales. Cable news breaks the story before federal agencies issue a second statement. Panels form. Experts argue. Former officers defend procedure. Civil rights attorneys challenge legality. The phrase administrative warrant becomes a trending search term overnight. Few understand what it means. Most don't care. They see the clip. They see the body fall. They make up their minds. Sophia Morales does not want to speak publicly, but silence is interpreted as weakness, and weakness invites distortion. So she steps in front of cameras, hands shaking, eyes hollow from sleepless nights. My sister was not armed, she says. She was scared. She thought someone was breaking in. Her voice breaks. She never hurt anyone. The clip goes viral. Her grief becomes content. Under pressure, federal authorities release a longer statement. It uses words like perceived threat, rapidly evolving situation, officer safety. The body cam footage is still withheld. Trust erodes. People assume the worst because history taught them to. Protests swell. Thousands gather downtown. Signs rise above heads. Candles flicker. Chants echo between buildings. Police lines form. Helmets. Shields. Batons. The tension is electric. One spark could ignite it all. A bottle flies. Then another. Someone pushes. Police move. A protester is tackled. A scream pierces the air. Phones record everything. The narrative hardens. Lines are drawn. 5 days after the shooting, the full body cam footage is released. 37 seconds. Unedited. The nation watches. Over and over and over. They pause it. Zoom in. Argue over pixels. Was it a phone? Was it a weapon? Fear versus intent. Training versus humanity. The footage answers nothing. It only divides. By the end of the week, the city is exhausted. Businesses board up. Schools close early. The case leaves Minneapolis. It becomes national, and the question shifts. Not what happened, but who will be held responsible. Fear, power, and the law. There is a sentence that determines whether an officer goes home or goes to prison. It is short, it is simple, and it appears in nearly every fatal police shooting in America. I feared for my life. Those 5 words do not need to be proven. They only need to be believed. Neuroscientists call it threat perception collapse. Under extreme stress, the brain stops processing reality and starts processing possibility. Hands become weapons. Movement becomes intent. Darkness becomes danger. Training reinforces this. Officers are taught to survive first, analyze later. The system rewards fear. Because fear protects institutions. The agent who fired the shots is placed on administrative leave. Not punishment. Procedure. He does not speak publicly, but privately. According to sources, he replays the moment endlessly. The arm. The movement. The second he decided. In his mind, hesitation equals death. In court, hesitation equals liability. Federal officers operate under layers of protection. Qualified immunity. Union attorneys. Federal jurisdiction. Even when wrongdoing is suspected, prosecution is rare. Not because evidence doesn't exist, but because intent is nearly impossible to disprove. A grand jury is presented as democracy. In reality, it is choreography. Prosecutors choose evidence. Prosecutors choose witnesses. Prosecutors frame questions. Statistics reveal the truth. Grand juries almost always side with the state. This case will be no different. Two sides emerge. One claims the officer followed training. The other claims the training is broken. Frame-by-frame analysts argue over pixels. Psychologists testify about fear. Civil rights lawyers talk about accountability. Truth becomes negotiable. Months pass. Protests fade. Attention moves on. The family waits. Silence becomes its own form of violence. The announcement comes quietly. No charges. The justification cites reasonable perception of threat. Insufficient evidence of criminal intent. The system closes ranks. Outrage resurfaces, but is smaller now, quieter, exhausted. Justice delayed has become justice denied. The law has spoken, but the story is not over, because legality is not morality, and closure is a myth. When the cameras leave, the officer does not return to the man he was. Administrative leave ends. Paperwork closes. Colleagues stop asking how he is doing. Officially, he is cleared. Privately, the moment replays. The door, the arm, the sound. Sleep comes in fragments. Some nights, he dreams the phone is a gun. Other nights, the gun is a phone. There is no version where the outcome changes. For Sofia Morales, time fractures. Before, after. There is no bridge between them. Elena's room stays untouched. Clothes still folded. Phone charger still plugged in. Grief becomes routine. Birthdays become painful. Silence becomes loud. The lawsuit is filed quietly. Wrongful death. Civil rights violations. The language is colder than the loss. Depositions reopen wounds. Emails are disclosed. Training manuals are debated. The case settles in admission of guilt. Money replaces answers. Public memory fades. New cases replace old ones. Algorithms move on, but families do not. Justice, it turns out, is temporary. Grief is permanent. Should administrative warrants be served this way? Why was the operation so early? Why no body cam transparency initially? Why does fear excuse everything? The system offers no replies. The duplex is quiet again. The porch light still flickers. A new family lives there now. They do not know the floor remembers. Cities carry ghosts.so institutions. This story is not about one officer or one woman. It is about what happens when fear becomes policy, when accountability becomes optional, when truth depends on perspective. The footage still exists. 37 seconds, unchanged, waiting. Elena Morales was not convicted of a crime. She was not armed. She was not given a chance. And the law says no one is responsible. That contradiction is where this story lives.